and all the other satellite bureaucracies around the country. So just leave. Say you're sick. Go shopping. Whatever you want. Because Obama supports it. All you teachers out there, not you good ones, you know who you are, but you jerk ones, because you know who you are too. Just leave the classroom. Obama will support you too. Yeah, you all keep it up. You keep it up. You are in a fish tank now, and everybody's looking at you, and they are getting more and more disgusted with the teachers' union, with the phony civil rights activists, like the old man, Jesse Jerkson, with that fat slob president of the AFL-CIO, Trumpka. That's right, people are getting sick of this. This isn't about the rich versus the poor. This isn't about the bourgeois versus the proletariat. This is about hard-working American citizens who are seeing their assets, all they've worked for, slip through their fingers because some jerk is demanding that they pay for their entire health care and pension rather than contribute to it themselves. What the hell? He wants them to give 12 or 13% into their own pension? Big deal. Well, we can't do that. No, we won't go. Yes, you will, you jerk. Governor Walker of Wisconsin, let me give you some advice. Go ahead and fire their asses. Figure out how much money you need to save and get rid of them. Because what I can see in that plaza, what I see in that square, they need to go. I wouldn't want my kids, if they were of school age in the public schools, to be within 1,000 feet of those teachers who are protesting. Not within 1,000 feet. Well, now, the Wisconsin Education Association Council, love all these communist-sounding groups, the Wisconsin Education Association Council. It's like the Egyptian Military Council. They have provided a list on their website of the home addresses for all legislators set to vote on the governor's plan in Wisconsin. The link which takes, I'm reading from redstate.com, the link which states a user to this list only states that it has phone numbers and email addresses. However, quick glance at the list provides otherwise. Oh, the tactics, the Leninist tactics of the teachers' union. The Leninist tactics. David Greger at Meet the Depressed, I'm sure you're going to be all over this on Sunday, aren't you? What you see here is a desperate last belch from the left. That's what it is. They've had clear sailing in this country for most of the last 80 years. They really have. Make that 70 years, 70, 75 years, but you get my point. So here we have the last desperate belch. And what they seem to be telling us, ladies and gentlemen, by word and action, is they're prepared to burn the bridge down if they can't control it at both ends. And so they press forward with a outrageous federal budget, which the Treasury Secretary says is unsustainable. His own budget. His boss's budget. Unsustainable. Their own actuaries and trustees tell us that Social Security and Medicare are unsustainable. What do? They steal money out of Medicare to help fund Obamacare, which is also unsustainable. Meanwhile, they've unleashed the bureaucracy and the regulators to attack our fishermen, our farmers, our coal miners, our oil workers, our truckers. In other words, the heartland of the nation and the coasts. Are these not working people too, Mr. President? Or do you have to be on the government dole to be a working person? In the name of the people, in the name of spreading the wealth, in the name of screwing the rich, he's driven unemployment, underemployment to almost 20%. 1 out of every 5 working age Americans. And how has he helped to make our community safer, this president of ours? By leaving the border wide open? By sending lawyers into states that dare to stand up for their citizens and try to protect them from drug smugglers, rapists, kidnappers, murderers from other parts of the world? Folks, you who are members of unions, you who typically vote Democrat, you need to rethink things, because this president and his party are quite different than Democrat presidents in the Democrat Party of the past. Unless you want a government job, this president has no time for you. Unless you want a government job, this president is going to do things that will destroy your way of life. And John Edwards used to say, shh, don't tell anybody. But he also used to say, there's 2 Americas. And I quote John Edwards because so many of you liberals voted for him. There are 2 Americas. Those who support a government without boundaries. Without boundaries. And those of us who are trying to hang on to our civil society. You can see it in the streets. Now, it wasn't that long ago when I said, under this government, under this president, you're going to start seeing civil unrest in the streets. Did I not? I said I didn't want it. I'm not advocating for it. But it's going to happen. And it's happening. There's civil unrest in the streets. But it's his party, his foot soldiers, his prodding that's causing the civil unrest. What do I mean by civil unrest? When people commit fraud who are called teachers, claim to be out on sick leave for the purpose of shutting down schools and protesting, that's civil unrest. So we have civil unrest going on in the streets, as I predicted we would. But what I'm concerned about is it's going to get worse before it gets better. And it's not just going to be them. It's going to be people who seek to protect this society too. And I want to be clear, and I want to be the first to make it as clear as I possibly can, that this is all on you, Mr. Obama. This is all on you. None of this is necessary. I believe last week I made the point, no, it was Monday when the budget came out, when Paul Ryan was on. I made the point after he left. You could have been a great president, despite all that you've done that's so destructive. With this budget, you would have had the opportunity to take on massively difficult issues, to lead, to address these entitlements. But you didn't, because you're a coward. You're an ideologue. You're an incompetent. So here we are. A nation struggling, trying to figure out how to straighten the course when we have a president who keeps pushing us off course. It's a bizarre thing. It's a troubling thing. And he can't get that community rabble-rouser out of his blood system. He can't. So he intervenes in Wisconsin. He intervenes in Arizona. He'll intervene in other places, too. President of the United States, siding against school children, siding against their parents, siding against the taxpayers of Wisconsin, encouraging civil disobedience, encouraging fraud by public school teachers who are getting paid for sick leave when they're not sick. He's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. We have governors who are required to balance their budgets, who are trying to do so. Now, you can't balance your budget in a state without addressing public sector unions, and in particular, the teachers' union. Even Cuomo has come to that conclusion in New York. Even the nut job in California, Jerry Brown, he's come to that conclusion too. You can't do it. It's not possible. But because Obama has a blank check, because we don't have in our federal constitution the requirement of balancing a budget, he's no intention of balancing a budget. He has no intention of even trying to balance a budget. In fact, he's trying to undermine those who are trying to balance the budget. And they always come back to the same argument. You'll hear one of their phony callers on this program now and then, or you'll hear one of their phony politicians. Anybody who dares to speak out against the left and their constituent groups who are trying to undermine the society, you'll hear, oh, you're just for the rich. You're just for the rich. Now, there's no indication whatsoever that we're just for the rich. It's Obama who flies out on our dime to San Francisco to meet with billionaires. But he's for the little guy. It's Obama who sides with union bosses making $160-some thousand a year, and before we even add in the benefits, against homeowners who are earning $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year, or have lost their jobs or are losing their homes. He's siding with the other side. And somehow we're for the rich. Why? Because we support liberty, private property rights, because we don't hate successful people who employ people and create things? No. We're supposed to be jealous and hateful? Not for the rich. We're for everybody. We're for liberty, private property rights. What we're against are insatiable bureaucrats who use their positions to leverage politicians against you and me. That's what FDR said. That's why FDR opposed all of this. But in his multiple personalities, Obama has, today I'm George Washington. Oh, he's reading Reagan. Today's Reagan. Oh, no, today's FDR. Oh, wait a minute, he's Jesus today. Wait, he can't be Jesus. He's, well, you get the point. He's none of them. And he never will be. He's Barack Obama. He's a lightweight. He's a rabble-rouser. Let me ask you a question. How hard is it, honestly, to pass a massive health care bill when you have massive Democrat majorities in both houses of Congress? It's not hard at all. So that's what he did. Wow, what a great accomplishment. How hard is it to appoint radicals over at the Environmental Protection Agency, to unleash them and their regulatory powers, where we, the voters, can't get to them? How courageous, how brilliant, how historic is that? It's not. These are the actions of an anti-constitutionalist. These are the actions of somebody who does not respect the process and the limits that our traditions and our Constitution place on the presidency. And yet we're supposed to praise it? Let me be even more blunt and put a fine point on it. This is a dictatorial mentality that says screw the people, screw tradition, the hell with experience, I don't care about knowledge, we will do what I want to do because I can force the people to do it. But don't worry, he's telling Bahrain to lay off the protesters. Here's my advice to the Arab countries. Just call your protesters Tea Party activists. Then Obama will side with you because he hates us.